So would you be happy to see someone who burgled your house, for instance, let off without a spell behind bars? Perhaps longer sentences are the answer. Rehman, what do you think?
Yeah, well, look, Anne, for me, I look at it from a number of different points. I used to be a barrister. I prosecuted cases and I defended cases. And for me, when you look at individuals who commit crime, they should pay the price. And I prosecuted and defended cases. I think you have three elements. You have punishment, deterrence, and rehabilitation all come together. And I would say the concept, which, if it's been pushed this way, that you take out the prison sentence for under 12 months offences, I think is completely wrong. I think you have to have it there, and you have judicial discretion. Judges should be able to decide, look at the different factors to see what is the appropriate sentence. And by saying that you can take away 12 months completely, up to 12 months no custody, I think it's wrong. And I think the point you make is you've got individuals who commit common assault. You've got individuals who driving while disqualified. There's a number of range of offences which are called summary offences. And I would say if you then completely take that away, that option from magistrates and judges who do a brilliant job, applying their discretion, I think it would be wrong. But where I do think the minister is right, and it's successive governments, and it was Lord Chief Justice in 2009, Lord Phillips, said prison should be a last resort, is that short sentences where you have individuals linked to drug addiction. They go in, they come back, there hasn't been proper rehabilitation, and they commit crime, and it affects more people. I think that needs to be addressed, but I do not agree with the concept that under 12 you abolish that completely. I don't agree with that.
So it's a bad idea. Rory Stewart's come up with a bad idea.
Well, I think what I'm saying is that I personally don't agree with it, but I think what the emphasis of where he's trying to go, address the short sentences, and this is where Ken Clarke was brilliant when he was Justice Secretary. He said, in terms of individuals who go to prison on short sentences, what are we doing to upskill them? Because sometimes with short sentences, if they get eight weeks,
there's no time to do that.
There's no time to do that, and sometimes what happens, they go from one prison 2 weeks, another prison 3 weeks, and there's no continuity, and therefore there's a real issue with addressing this. So I see the challenges he has, but equally at the same time, I think you have to keep that option open so that deterrence, punishment, and rehabilitation all come together. That'd be my view.
I
think we already have, and at the moment you have drug testing orders where judges can issue issues with what Peter was saying absolutely right about addiction and drugs and other issues. Mental health comes in, where a combination of issues, and judges do. And I've been before judges, and there's some I disagree with, and I've appealed them to the Court of Appeal, and you got the decision you want. But our judiciary, in my view, are brilliant, and they address the issue of judicial discretion. They give those orders or community rehabilitation, brilliant probation service, and if somebody doesn't comply, then they look at the reasons for it, and they can put it before a judge. Judge can then say, do you know what, I'm going to scrap this, and you're going to go to prison. They have that discretion at the moment, and probation do a great job on that. But I think this is going a bit further.
If you increase that, if you've suddenly got, I don't know, tenfold the amount of people that are coming in, that's an enormous amount of more pressure on the probation service.
You have to, if you're going to do it, you've got to put extra resources. There's no way they can do it. They've got to put the resources.
Great idea. What do you think of that, Rehman? I mean, it's cost, isn't it? But it's joined up thinking.
Yeah, well, what I would say, I think there's a number of points which I would agree with. One, the point I made earlier with Ken Clarke, that when he was Justice Secretary, he ensured that on shorter sentences, when prisoners were going in, they got the skills for work. They had to work a certain number of hours in prison, so when they came back out, they got into the work ethos of knowing the hours and how they had to, the work commitment. But I think linked to that, the point which has been made is to say that, some of them will be away from their family. But we also do know that family breakdown, a number of these come from issues where there's issues of family breakdown, they get sucked into violence, into crime, issues of mental health. So I would say it's a joined up approach, but I would agree to say that rehabilitation is absolutely vital. And if you look at the stats from 2016, I think they broke it down into men and women. Those who went in for a short sentence, I think for women it's about 70% reconvicted, and if it was for male it was 60% reconvicted. So the issue about rehabilitation, addressing that for short sentence is absolutely crucial. That's where the minister's coming from. But the wider point that you have to have punishment, rehabilitation and deterrence, and that's why I think completely getting it off for 12 months is not the right way forward.
Yes.
You have to have that discretion.
Because otherwise you're putting out a very strange message, aren't you? Because there are lots of people in society who are struggling with all sorts of mental health issues, they're unemployed, they've got all sorts of problems, and they don't commit crime. And it would almost seem to them that maybe by committing a crime you might get more care from.
And I think, sorry, Peter,
I don't think this exemption should apply to sexual or violent offenders, but lots of people end up in prison for non-violent crime, so fraud or tax evasion, things like that. And I think in those instances, community service is a way to go. I also think it's very important that there is an element of restorative justice for the victims. I think the perpetrator needs to if the victim is willing, face their victim, apologise, and also give them some form of compensation in, for example, an order for them to pay the victim X amount of money for
Or to do some work for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I think what you've got to make sure custody works is, I put a bill in Parliament on drink driving and repeat offenders. If you go out and commit drink driving, it's your first offence, you get up to 6 months. If it's your 10th offence, you get up to 6 months. You are a menace to people on the streets. For repeat offenders, I said it should be up to 2 years in the Crown Court. So when you've got that anomaly already with summary offences, to take that 12 months away from judges in the first place, which is one aspect of this may be, I think it's wrong. Have that, but you have to make sure the combination deterrence, punishment and rehabilitation is very much there.
Okay.